Hi friends, and welcome to the weekly moon update. In these videos, we talk about the moon energy for the current week. And in this video's case, we're talking about the week of August 24th through the 30th. We have our full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces that we have been waiting anxiously for. So we have our big, bright, or I should say our dark lunar eclipse happening this week in Pisces, the long awaited for. We're also having a Sun and Mercury conjunction, and Mercury seems to have been playing a really significant role with the eclipses that we've been having this month. A couple weeks ago, Mercury had a conjunction with Jupiter right after the solar eclipse on August 12th. And now, right before this lunar eclipse, the Mercury is conjunct with the Sun. So there seems to be something significant with Mercury and communication, and that's always also showing up in our oracle cards. So in these weekly moon update videos, we talk about the moon energy for the current week, as well as a little bit of astrology and some collective oracle messages. If you are watching this live on Sunday at 8:30 p.m. when it premieres, hello and welcome. Thank you so much for being here. However, if you're not watching this live, there's always timestamps in the description box below so that you can jump around to whatever part of the week you may be watching it, as well as the oracle messages at the end. So we've got a lot to talk about this week. Let's jump into it. So, our full moon is happening at the end of the week on Friday, August 28th, and all of it's happening right around midnight. So, this whole week is leading up with a waxing gibbous moon until our full moon on Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday we'll have our waning gibbous moon. So, lots of energy, lots of light. However, I do usually feel like the lunar eclipses specifically feel very much like the new moon. So even though we have a lot of light and a lot of energy, I do usually kind of feel like a new moon, like a decrease of energy. And I mean, that makes sense because a lunar eclipse is when the normally full moon is blocked by the Earth's shadow. So at a time when it's usually light and bright and illuminating the night, we have this temporary period of darkness, which does very much feel like a new moon or a dark moon. So also happening this week, I don't know what's been going on with these void of courses this year. So editing Allison here, just to reinforce my point about how crazy long the void of course times have been this year. Usually when I put the timestamps in the description box below so that you can jump around to whatever week, I usually put Monday / Aquarius, and then the timestamp where I'll be talking about Monday and I'll be talking about the zodiac sign Aquarius, or whatever zodiac sign or day of the week it is. But this year, multiple times, and including in this video, I've had to put Monday / void of course, because there is no zodiac sign. The whole day is void of course. So this is the first year that I've ever had to do that, and I've been making these videos for the last 5 years. So I just think that's really significant that we have these really long void of course times, and I still have no idea why. But we have another void of course on Monday, and it is a long one. We're starting off at 2:29 a.m. void of course all day Monday, and then moving into Aquarius at 5:02 a.m. on Tuesday. So Monday, if you're not familiar with the void of course, it's simply when the moon transitions from one sign to the other. The moon hangs out in a sign for around 2.5 days before it continues moving into another sign. So why it sometimes takes a really long time versus sometimes it's only a few minutes. I really have no idea. But this year we've been having really long void of course times, and this one is no exception. It's almost a 24-hour transition, but it's more like 22, around 22 hours. So I have really found this year that I struggle to get things done when the moon is void of course, and you really do feel that absence of an energy. So we're in between Capricorn and Aquarius. We're in between the earth and the air. It's kind of interesting because if here's a sneak peek to the oracle card, we have a tree on the oracle card today. So it's like the Capricorn is the earth rooted in the ground, and then the Aquarius is the air, but then the tree is like everything in between that. So it's very much kind of void of course energy, or a nice little void of course analogy there. It's the in between. Yeah, I just have trouble focusing because probably because I like to focus on the moon energy. So like when I wake up in the morning and I see that the moon is in Capricorn, I'm going to try to do some earthy Capricorn things throughout the day. But if we don't have an energy, then I don't have anything to focus on. So maybe I need to start having something specific to focus on. But I don't know, that's not true either, because even if I have a to-do list, I still find like I'll go to try to do something and then it like doesn't work out. Like you go to sit down at your computer, like, oh my gosh, this happened to me a couple weeks ago. Like I had a whole to-do list. I was like up early, had my coffee, had breakfast, was like ready to have a really nice, long, productive work day. I sit down at the computer, I kid you not, the power goes out. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm not working today. That is the energy that void of course is like to me. You have every intention of doing something and then it just doesn't work out the way you wanted it to. So I would not put much emphasis on productivity on Monday. Maybe wait until Tuesday and Wednesday. I would load it up because I'm not productive on water days either. So I would put anything that needs your brain power, because when we're talking about Aquarius, we're talking about air and mental activity and wisdom. So I would put the brain power things that you need to do on Tuesday and Wednesday, and even part of Thursday too. Especially because again, we're having that Sun Mercury conjunction. So a conjunction is when two planets, or in this case, the sun and a planet, are within a few degrees of each other in the same sign. So the sun is currently in Virgo and Mercury just entered Virgo. So they're just kind of meeting up, having this little huddle. So what it kind of does is combine the energies of those two planets. In this case, the sun being like action, outward expression, and Mercury being communication. So this is a really good time to use your words. And like I said about the solar eclipse a few weeks ago, Mercury had a pretty big impact on that as well with the Mercury and Jupiter conjunction. So there seems to be something significant about using your words with these eclipses. Maybe it's journaling and doing some shadow work, like getting those words and that negative energy out of you. Or if it's for manifestation or calling things in, writing them down, showing the universe that I want this thing, and then taking action towards it. But taking action towards it can simply be writing it down. That's like you're committing yourself to this thing. Even if it's like, I want to be open to whatever the Pisces full moon lunar eclipse wants to show me, writing that down. I am open to receiving. I before E, except after C. I'm open to receiving, writing it down, proclaiming what it is, what your intentions are to the universe. So we're going to be in Aquarius all day Tuesday, all day Wednesday, part of Thursday as well. And we'll move into Pisces at 3:04 p.m. This is another kind of long void of course time again. What is this? Is this another like 20-hour? That's almost a 20-hour transition, right? So another long void of course transition. So I'm okay. productive times are going to be Tuesday and Wednesday. And then the moon will officially be in Pisces at 3:04 p.m. Thursday. So that puts us in that full moon energy. And like I said, the eclipse is happening in the wee hours of the morning. The eclipse is actually happening before the fullness. So the eclipse is 12:12 a.m. And then 1 minute later, it's going to start to transition into Aries. And then it's officially full at 12:18 a.m. Maybe that's why there's been this, like, we've had a lot of these the next minute or while in transition full moons and new moons this year. So maybe that's why there's such an emphasis on that void of course energy. But anyway, so the moon is officially full at 12:18 a.m. So I would probably like do whatever practice you have Thursday evening, because we're going to be kind of close to Aries. Well, not really. I mean, geez, look how long this void of course time is. From 12:13 a.m. all day Friday, we're void. All day Saturday, we're void too, until 10:38 p.m. Saturday evening is when we officially move into Aries, which means we're going to have us an Aries Sunday this is that burst of energy, that shot of espresso that has everything that maybe you kind of let fall through the cracks during this week, and getting it all done on Sunday, getting ready for Monday. But we're only in Aries for the beginning part of Monday, because the moon's going to start to transition at 3:36 p.m. Monday. So this is like speed cleaning on Sunday kind of energy. So just a reminder, if you did not pick up that Eclipse PDF journaling worksheet, that link is going to be in the description box below. So be sure to check that out. Even if I still like to work with eclipse energy. And remember, these eclipses happen for the next couple of years. Like, we're going to have Leo eclipses for the next couple of years. This is the last Pisces one, but you can still work with that Leo energy. It kind of like, hey, Editing Allison here again. I just wanted to point out that we actually won't be working with Leo energy for the next couple of years, because for some reason we only have 2 Leo eclipses. So the Leo eclipse that we just had on August 12th, and then we're going to have another one next summer. So for some reason, these Leo eclipses, there's only 2 of them. So I think that's another important reason to pick up the PDF that I've put down there, so that you can reflect on this year's, and then next year you're going to be able to have that reflection to look back on. Because normally, like I said, we've had 4 Pisces eclipses, so, and this is the last one. And then we've had 4 Virgo ones, and next February is the last one. So I don't know why there's only 2 of the Leo, but it's just nice to have that. And even if you don't get the PDF, journal something about the Leo eclipse that you experienced this time, so that next summer you can flip back through your journal and maybe piece some things together, see what has changed throughout the year, and figure out what this Leo eclipse meant for you. How I view, or how I work with the eclipses, is I take one little bite-sized piece at a time, one little part of it that I can easily digest, transmute, integrate, whatever, work with a little bit at a time. So when the next Leo eclipse comes, I take another little small chunk of it, and another little small chunk of it. With this Pisces lunar eclipse, you might want to be reflecting back on the previous Pisces eclipses. Hey, Editing Allison here again. So in the journaling questions PDF, I have all of the previous Pisces eclipse dates, so that you can hopefully flip back in your journal or your calendar, or figure out what those might mean for you. So another reason to purchase that PDF, head to my Ko-fi shop. There's a link in the description box below. Thanks. So just something to keep in mind when you're working with this eclipse energy. So our oracle message is coming from Oracle of the Hidden Worlds. I love this deck so much. It's so beautiful. It's by Lucy Cavendish. I'm a huge fan of hers. And I never really use this deck that often, so I'm so excited to jump into it today. And we have number 7, the Tree of Illumination, Truth, Revelations, and Understanding. It's interesting that this came up because understand is one of my Pisces keywords. There are within this world certain trees which have qualities that are unique and magical. All trees have a little of this magic, but in some, the power accumulates and rests and rises until the tree becomes a part of a sacred place in which great healing, revelations, understanding, and moments of insight can take place. They have been many among the great divine ones of the world. Oded and Yggdrasil, Buddha and the tree, and this tree is one of those, as those. You are now invited to step into the energies of this tree and receive the wisdom it wishes to offer you. In your own world, make the time to connect with all trees, but in this moment, gazing upon this card, know that there dwells within this tree a great spirit. Can you see the great spirit? It's a little bit eerie. There she is. Know that there dwells within this tree a great spirit who wishes now to share with you the potent magic of the realms some would call fairy. This shining one now invites you in. As you enter and lay down beneath the branches, light will fall upon you and nurture you and become a part of you, so that you can know the truth of any circumstance that has troubled you. Take this worry to the tree of illumination, and when you still yourself and listen and go to the trees, you will return with all that you seek to know. It is within the branches of the trees that knowledge and wisdom will be found. Do not ask yourself anymore. Ask the trees, and the answer will be yours. So I love this deck. I love this card. This image is so beautiful. The thing that's really jumping out at me, though, is the analogy of the tree, kind of like what we were talking about earlier with the void of course energy being everything in between the root and the divine. But I kind of see this as a reminder that, like, this is the last Pisces eclipse that we are working with. And the Pisces eclipse is paired with the Virgo eclipses. So Virgo is an earth sign. It's the root, it's the earth, it's the ground. Pisces is the watery, dreamy ether that's up here. It's up here floating around in the subconscious. I think this is a message of, like, we can't just only focus on the third eye, the crown chakra, and the soul star chakra to connect to the divine. We have to be rooted and anchored first in the earth, in our body. We have to be that open and clear channel in order to receive. So you can't just focus on your third eye and crown chakra. You have to focus on your root. You have to focus on the earth star chakra in order to be able to receive information. And our chakra card is the heart chakra. Soulmate presence. There is a soulmate presence around you now, either in human or spirit form. You may have noticed more synchronicities recently, or you will begin to notice them soon. This presence is one that knows and loves you and is coming forward to help you heal some part of a broken heart. Let the light of this presence move into the cracks and tender places in your heart and that need mending. Your heart is ready to be whole once again. So this is, again, a heart chakra card. The crystal is chrysoprase and the herb is rose. I think it's really interesting that this card comes up because of the spirit of the tree here on this card. There's definitely, I feel like this Pisces full moon lunar eclipse maybe gives you the opportunity to communicate with your guides, communicate with spirit, communicate with past loved ones, or even just your higher self. And communication is definitely part of this. Remember, because the sun is conjunct Mercury right now, and we also have this throat chakra crystal. Amazonite is a throat chakra stone that encourages speaking your truth with confidence. It heals unhealthy communication patterns and assists you in having difficult conversations with ease. Working with this gem inspires heartfelt sharing. The affirmation is, I express my truth freely. I communicate with ease and confidence. And so I know technically, I guess the throat chakra isn't necessarily considered a upper chakra. It's kind of like in the middle. But we always need, like, communication doesn't have to just be verbal communication with the external world. Communication can mean communication with spirit, communication with your higher self, paying attention to your thoughts and how you are speaking to yourself. But also speaking and communicating with the divine, communicating and speaking to the Pisces full moon, asking the full moon. I go outside and I ask the full moon what messages it has for me or what it needs for me. And if you're quiet enough, you can hear it and receive messages. We just have to pay attention or use affirmations like this. I express my truth freely. I communicate with ease and confidence. So one last thing about this Pisces lunar eclipse. Remember, it is a north node eclipse. So the north node is about calling things in. It's the direction that we're going. Your north node in your birth chart is your North Star. It's the direction that you're going, the path that you're following. It's the light that is leading you to wherever it is that you're supposed to go in this lifetime. So the solar eclipse a few weeks ago was about letting go. And this Pisces, this last Pisces this is the last time we're focusing on a dreamy Piscean eclipse that it gives us the ability. I feel like Pisces just helps us believe. It helps us believe in the thing, like that we deserve the thing that we desire, that we deserve to set the goals and go after the thing that we want to go after. Pisces is the best way to tap into that belief because there's always going to be doubts. There's always going to be fear that pops up. Pisces believes, Pisces dreams, Pisces believes that we are going to get to that thing. And then also remember, we have one more Virgo South Node eclipse happening next spring, which will officially be closing out this Virgo Pisces. So we're partially closing this door of Pisces Virgo energy and completely closing it with the Virgo moon, anchoring in that energy with the Virgo eclipse next spring. I hope that you have a wonderful, dreamy Pisces eclipse. Really, I feel like we're not going to be productive this week, but if you need to be productive, I'm shooting for Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. When you achieve the things that you set out to do on Tuesday and Wednesday and like check that off your list, that gives you the time and the space and the energy to really open up and receive and to allow yourself to be kind of floaty, dreamy Piscean, because you're not thinking about all of those other things that you have to do. So completely giving yourself space to be open to whatever comes up for you on the eclipse and to give yourself time and space to journal or pull cards or do your eclipse tarot reading. I hope you're able to find that space to dream and to play around in the subconscious with this full moon. Thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to see you on the other side of the looking glass again sometime soon. And some collective oracle messages for everybody. So